Hey y'all, I had to get my selfie stick going here. I'll show you what my selfie stick is at the end of this video. But anyway, let's take a look around at the sawmill. Tell you some stuff I'd like to change about it, things I'm unhappy with about it, things that I'm happy with it about it. So here, let's go with it. First of all, when I'm operating it from back here, as you can see, the pull rope's over here. I gotta pull it this way. Then after I start it, can you see that in this lighting sucks today? It's pretty cloudy out. Can you see the pull rope there? I'm wiggling the camera too much. Just right there's the pull rope. And you gotta pull it this way. Okay. Then after you start it, you gotta come around over here, and here's your throttle handle right there. And this is where you operate it at. So then you want to shut it off, you reach over here, then you gotta come all the way back over here to restart it. I hate that. And you can't spin the motor around. You know, I mean, the motor is what it is. So I would like to take this handle off, remodify it to work on that side, take the hand crank off and remodify it to work on the opposite side. So that way, when I'm operating it, I'm operating it from the side that I start the saw, stack it on the forks on my tractor, and I move on. Okay, the crank system that they have on here, it's kind of cheap. It's just a couple little pulleys up here. You know, these pulleys up here and stuff, and it goes on down to these pins down here, and there's another one on that side with this hand crank system, and that works good. This, get back right here, this is the measuring stick here. And you can adjust it with this here to the peg, you can move it up and down, but you only have that much room that you can measure with. I'm not really happy with this part of it. This stick I'm happy with, you know, for that, but I want something that's longer so I don't have to reset after every 7 or 8 inches. So that part's not too good of a deal. But it is what it is. And for the price, I can't complain. Another thing, looking at it from the side here, that I'm not overly fond with, is these clamps. You know, where it clamps onto the post here to lock it on down. This clamp here, it hangs up. And then you get there and you have to take a hammer and beat up on this to get it to lock again. This side here works just fine. But this one, no, I'll have to take a hammer and unjar it. You know, so I'm not too happy with that. Got to remodify that. The other thing is, oh wow, this is backed off, it looks like. We'll have to check that. I don't like the setup for tightening up the bandsaw. This handle, that's all right. Fine, I'd like to cut this off over here. Well, let me show. I'd like to cut this off and weld a socket on in here so I can put a torque-wrench ratchet and torque it on in, you know, to the specifications. But as far as adjusting the wheel for alignment on the band, this whole setup in here, it's really sticky. You really have to work it to readjust it. And I have to, with this saw here, basically I have to loosen this top here to replace the band. And that, every time you do that, it changes alignment. So then you got to realign it each time. So I wouldn't mind remodifying that when I come up with an idea. But the other thing is, This nut here kept on vibrating loose on me to keep this cage closed. Well, I'm really not liking this cage anyway, going over closing this off. I'd kind of like to take it off. You know, for one thing, convenience of when you get on done cutting, and I still haven't done this today, is getting in here and hosing all that sawdust off. You see, one of the problems that I have here with the setup is the bands get pretty warm. The bandsaw does, and that makes the cuts wave up and down. You know, as you cut when those blades get hot, even when it's not pitchy lumber. So you know, I found that if I keep just dumping water to it, it cuts great. You know, I mean, it doesn't overheat and it cuts fine. When I get into pitchy lumber, then I got to add a little bit of detergent and, you know, a little bit of soap to it from time to time to keep that pitch cut off. But I don't have to run the soap all the time. But one of the downfalls is, like over here, when you're running a bunch of water, look what it does with the sawdust. It just cakes it in there. So you got to get in here and hose it. And it'd be a lot easier. This is always open. And I just got done and I just hosed it off real quick. Not only that, these 2x2s, now this one here, let's see here if I can find it on screen. I got the metal one in here for right now, but I put 2x2 oak pegs on in here for lower cuts usually. So if I hit them with a blade, I don't ruin it. But if I cut off a short piece like that, it spins around up inside of that cage and bounces around, and sometimes it gets caught in between the blade and the wheel, which kinks the blade. So that's not good. And I figure if I had this cage off, you know, the doors off, then that little chunk would just fly on out of there and it wouldn't be a problem. The other thing is, it is a cheap saw, and it comes with these friction guides. Let me see if I can get that in the picture. These are friction guides right here. Now you can see I got roller guides in the back, and typically you don't want your bandsaw to hit the back rollers. That's just in case. But there should be rollers top and bottom here, so there's less, so you don't have that friction. Works out a lot better. You know, so that's something I want to replace. I want to put roller guides on there instead of the friction guides. A little bit more maintenance to them, but a lot less resistance on your saw when it's spinning. The other thing is, some of you that have experienced running sawmills like Ben and Mike from Dylan's Homestead, see this black deal here? Now I know you guys want to be as stupid as me, but I'll just tell you what I did. Is this blade was rusty when I first put it on. It's a used blade. It was rusty, and I decided to put a little oil on it after I tried cleaning it up quickly. Didn't do too much. And I poured a little bit of oil on it right in here just to kind of lubricate this where it's going in, because it was kind of hanging up. It wasn't wanting to go. I should have taken the time, you know, and sanded the blade down and, you know, put some paraffin wax on it if need be or whatever. I should have never put oil on it. And what it's doing is my drive belt, it's gumming up and it's, you know, kind of wearing off and caking up. And now all that rubber, this is rubber that's on my bandsaw. Then it gets on in and it wedges up. And then when I throttle it all the way down, it doesn't want to start back up. That was a stupid deal on my part, and I knew better. That's the part where it makes me really feel stupid about it. Was I knew better, I knew what it would do, but I thought, oh, just a teeny amount, I can get away with that. Oh, crap. Then another deal is, I noticed, I believe it was on Ben's sawmill. Now let me go back to the other side. Now Ben's sawmill, I remember, and probably Mike's too, I would guess. I don't know if Cecil's is this way, but on these roller guides, Can we get them in the picture here? Yeah, here's the back side of the roller guides. Okay, this is the bar that comes down and supports the roller guide, and then there's one on this side. I noticed on Ben's, his on one side slides back and forth, and I presume both sides might be adjustable to where you can put them, bring them in closer together, because with this distance that I have between these guides, you know, that blade can warp more, a lot more than what theirs can. And it's nice to have that adjustment. So that's another thing I would like to change, is I'd like to be able to bring this one into the, if I choose to, on the left, and I'd like to bring this one in on the right. And that way, while you can see the 45 coming up in here, that center beam I'd have more maximum clearance of that 7 inches from that I have from here down to the blade, and not have to worry about getting into that 45 on some of the tall stuff. Just something I've been thinking about. Another thing on the front I just thought of. We'll go back over there again. See if I can get into the picture here. Where are we at? Okay. Right here. This is where the water comes on out and drips on the blade to cool it. I don't know. I'm sorry, folks. I got a lot of shake today. But anyway, right in here is where the water comes on out. Well, it's coming up pretty much almost straight. So if I turn the water pressure on too much, it shoots out over the top of the blade and it doesn't even hit the blade. If I don't turn it on enough, then it drops on down behind the blade. To get it right on the blade, I still have to run more water than I need to cool the blade. So I do want to replace this piece of copper tubing here. I want to replace this, bring it out further, and bend it straight down in the middle of this blade, so that I can just put it at a drip if I want to, just enough to cool the blade. Because that's most of the time all I need to do is just cool the blade, nothing more. Don't need to clean it or whatever. If I needed to clean it and I would need to run more water, I could always open it up more and it'll spray it right on the blade. Right now, I have very limited control. I mean, it has to be a certain amount, and that's the only way that it works. Well, y'all, I hope you found that to be informative, you know, on this stuff on this here. I would tell you more about these log clamps that I got. I've made a video on them, and I'm still working out the bugs, this and that, what's going to work, yay and nay. So I'm not really ready to talk about the solution to them, but y'all have seen what I got. But I hope if y'all are interested in are thinking about buying a sawmill or building one, I just want people to know that Harbor Freight is a good sawmill as far as for the price. You know, $2 grand for the setup. So if you're looking for a cheap route to go, and you plan on doing improvements along the way to make things better, then I could say, yeah, go with the Harbor Freight. If you're not handy at welding and you know, doing all the different stuff and redesigning things to make it work with metal, working with metal, I would suggest that you stick with something differently, you know, a better quality sawmill. You know, Wood-Mizer, Woodland Mills, I mean, the number of them, there's lots of them. But if you're handy with, you know, or if you don't plan on doing much cutting, just a board here and there once or twice a year, then yeah, it's a great little hobby saw. So anyway, I hope you guys found this video handy, and be sure to follow my channel. Oh yeah, I was going to show you my selfie stick. Just a second, I got to take the rubber bands off without breaking them. There we go. Let's see here. See, there's my selfie stick. I just rubber band the cell phone to the stick, and that works for me. Just remember, folks, if the girls don't find you handsome like me, they can find you handy like me. And if they don't find you handy like me, just pray they find you. I want to thank y'all for watching my video all the way to the end. I appreciate that, and I hope you did enjoy it. If you did enjoy it, I'd like to request a favor from y'all. Go ahead and give my video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. That really does help. And if you ain't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right there in the middle, or the one down in the bottom corner. Either one, it don't matter. Take your pick. But it would really help me. And if you didn't like the video, if you have a complaint about it, give me a thumbs down. It doesn't make no never mind to me, but please leave a comment why you gave that thumbs down so you can help me improve my channel. I know there's some complaints about my video volume being too low quite often. Give the video a thumbs down for it and say, hey, I gave a thumbs down because your video volume was too low. Or I gave you a thumbs down because you was too far away from the camera, or just whatever. It really will help my channel. Just remember, folks, if the girls don't find you handsome like me, they can find you handy like me. And if they don't find you handy like me, just pray that they find you. Y'all come back now, you hear? Bye!